Good morning, everybody. We are back. It is the right side of campus. We're live on a Friday, May 4th, 2018. I'm your host, Big Man on Campus here, back with my co-host, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, how you doing today?
It is May the 4th, Jeff. I don't watch Star Wars. I haven't watched it since like the early 80s, one time when I was like, 6 or 7 years old. But happy and May the 4th be with you. I guess some of these higher tech guys will talk about that and have some fun. But Jeff, brought to the good people by Intertops here at sportsbookreview.com. It's Friday. It's not a football Friday, but it's still Friday, Jeff.
Yes, it is. And we are brought to you by Intertops. Make sure you're using and checking out Intertops, one of the best books in the business, one of the books that we co-sign. Great interface, good payouts, good bonuses. Make sure you're checking out Intertops whenever you're looking for a book. One of the best in the business. Many years of quality. I've used them myself. Really good book. Like them a lot. Make sure you check out Intertops. Donnie, it is not a football Friday, but it is a NBA and baseball Friday. We'll get into that and more here on the show. We'll recap what happened last night. Interesting night for sure. We'll chat about that. But obviously, if you're out there listening in, hit the like button, retweet the show, let us know you're out there, and show some love here this morning. Uh, Donnie, how was your night last night?
No, it was pretty good, nice and relaxing, sat back. I mean, other than the Sixers game, which, watching the NBA sometimes is a bit of a chore, Jeff. Sometimes I should go back to just my old adage where you just turn the game on with about 5 minutes left because absolutely nothing that happens before outside of, some three-point shots, some dunks, some fast break fun out there. Nothing really matters. A 20 or 25-point lead now, it seems like, Jeff, in today's NBA with the three-point shot analytics and firing up shots quick, it just doesn't matter anymore. And why not, Jeff, just take the old adage at that point just to go in and, you say, I'll just take a live wager when one team's down 20 points money line.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough league to watch at times for sure. I mean, especially when some of these runs happen. It's like a freight train, man. It's really tough to watch at times. But yeah, no, another 20-point blown lead last night from the Sixers. We'll get into that. Let's get into the morning headlines here. Matt Ryan gets paid $30 million a year that he'll make. And look, listen, he's a good quarterback, but I'm not sure he's worth $30 million a year. Donnie, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's just a growing number, but I mean, you put your team behind the eight ball when you take that much money as a quarterback. But then again, Jeff, that's how important the quarterback position is. It almost seems like in the NFL now, it goes in reverse, right? You draft the young quarterback, you hope he's good within the first 2 to 3 years, so you can spend, $5 million on the quarterback position as opposed to $30 million a year and get the guy and surround him with some talent. But that's just today's NFL. Next up on the dock, sitting back in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers watching this going, oh, he getting $30 million a year, I want $35 million a year. And it just stumbles down there from there. The good thing is the Eagles did get a Super Bowl, Jeff, because Carson Wentz is going to be that $30 million quarterback within the next year. It's just the way it is. I almost would like to see, Jeff, the NFL open it up and give you a little bit of salary cap relief for paying your quarterback or paying him a monster amount of money, because it really does take away from your team. And it's sort of that weird advantage where you better win in the first 5 years or else you pay your quarterback and then you can't win anymore. It's really weird.
Jason Witten heading to the booth. We talked about, I want to say we talked about last Friday him retiring. He's going to head to the booth. I'm not sure what he's going to do. I guess he's going to take a page out of Tony Romo's book. We'll see how he does. What booth is he going to? ESPN or?
Yeah, Monday Night Football. Monday Night
Okay.
Football.
There you go. Look, I'm sure he'll offer some interesting takes on football. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if he'll how good it'll be, but it was very sudden him retiring. Seems like he'd play forever, but he is heading to the booth. What are your thoughts on Donnie him heading to the booth? You think that'll work out?
A personable guy. Again, the Cowboys, America's team, so to speak. But more people hate the Cowboys than like them, but that's why they get a lot of ratings. Tony Romo going to the booth. I was never, being an Eagles fan, hated Tony Romo. It was fun to poke holes in him, but he was generally a good guy. The same thing with Jason Witten. Came to play every week, didn't taunt anybody. One of the good guy Dallas guys. I'm sure he's probably articulate and ready to go because he just wouldn't put you in the Monday night booth and pay you $5-6 million a year if you weren't ready to do it. So, I mean, hey, root him on well, see how he does in the booth. But I don't have a problem problem with it. It's not like, remember the times back, you're probably a little bit too young to remember, like Jerry Rice, probably the best player of all time. He was one of the worst analysts you ever see. They even tried Emmett Smith. Emmett Smith was a terrible analyst and quickly moved off of ESPN. We'll see what Jason Witten has, but Romo's done well for himself, and that opened the door for Witten.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. We'll see how that goes. Ichiro Donnie's retired. He's heading to the front office for the Seattle Mariners, the team that he spent the most time with. 3,089 hits in his MLB career. MLB average 311. Great player. I mean, one of the best hitters we've seen over the last, I don't know, let's say 10 years or so. How long's he been in the major leagues? Came
That's it
over in
for a
like
long time. Yeah.
2006, I think. Been in the league about 12 years, 13 years. What a storied career. Listen, didn't hit home runs and wasn't that kind of guy. Just a high level hitter, got on base, did what he had to do. A storied career, Donnie. What are your thoughts on him going to the boot, though? This was kind of sudden because he has talked about before he wanted to play into his 40s. He wanted to play for a long time.
Yeah, no, I mean he's a really really good player and left a couple thousand hits over across seas before he even came over to Major League Baseball. One of the all-time good guys, and during his prime, you want to talk about an unbelievable outfielder with a cannon arm, super fast on the bases. You couldn't strike the guy out no matter what happened. He always put the ball in play and still doing it to a high level to a certain degree late in his career. One of those really good clubhouse guys. But I mean Seattle's big out, West Coast Seattle. They still have that connection over to Asia, so it's a good business move to keep him in the organization to keep eyeballs on there. And he's an all-time good guy. Why would you not want to have Ichiro around your organization?
Ichiro, Donnie in Japanese means first son. If you didn't
Yeah,
know.
no,
Uh,
I mean, a surefire Hall of Famer, great guy. I mean, it's just what a career the guy actually had, and still able to play. I always used to like the stuff that went around with him, where he would literally bring like his own gym, like when he went to play for the Marlins, just his exercise that he liked to do. But teams would accept it because he always came to play.
yeah, impressive player throughout his career. Definitely one of the best hitters we've seen for a long time here. Um, one other one, Kentucky Derby going tomorrow. I would check out the channel for videos. I don't know anything about horse racing. I don't. I'm not sure. I usually just get a call from Chill, a guy I know, Chill. He gives me a pick, and I rock with it. But I don't know much about it, Donnie. You're not a horse racing guy either, are you? I
No,
can't
not
believe
a, no.
you are.
You,
I don't.
you know, yeah, you know what I actually like is we were, in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, we had a couple of good Philadelphia horses making Triple Crown runs, which made it really fun. Smarty Jones and all them out of the
Barbaro.
Delaware Valley, Barbaro, exactly those two horses. But I actually, it's funny, like the Kentucky Derby's the big scene, right? But to me, like just as an outside fan, it's the race that means the least amount to me because the Preakness is where the fun starts, where the Kentucky Derby winner goes to the Preakness and you root on the Kentucky Derby winner to see if you can get a Triple Crown. To me, I don't know anything. I can't even name you a single horse in the Kentucky Derby. I won't be betting on it. I'll probably watch it, but to me, the Kentucky Derby means absolutely nothing unless there's a Triple Crown, which starts at the Preakness.
Dottie, do you remember back in the day when how WIP does the updates and stuff?
Yes. Jan
They had this
Gorham.
lady, yeah, yeah, they had this older lady named Jan Gorham, and uh, like for anyone that doesn't know, most radio stations do this. They do like a on the 20s and 40s, they do like a news update. And I remember I was listening to it live. It was very late at night. It was probably 1 in the morning, and the update comes up, and she starts talking and doing her thing, and she goes, "There won't be another run for Barbaro. He's dead." And like just out of
Yeah.
nowhere, it says that. I'm just like, what? Like, and it was like a big thing around here. She kind of got a little shit for it, but
Yeah.
yeah, she was very obvious with it. But yeah, I don't know much about it. It's not something I ever got into really. But I know there are people that are very good at it and they do a nice job. So hey, salute to them. Hopefully you win a lot with the Triple Crown and the Derby and everything. Hey, one other note of contention, Donnie. David Fisdale hired by the Knicks. Listen, I don't care who you put in charge there. I mean, it's going to be an uphill
He's going
climb,
to fail. Yeah.
whether it's Brett Auerbach or whoever. I like David Fisdale. I'm a fan of his. I've been pushing for months that he get hired. I think he's the best coach not with a job in the league. He did a great job down at Memphis. I took him to the playoffs in his first year. I thought he was um, unfairly fired. I didn't understand that decision. And look, will he fail? He probably will. I think for the problem with the Knicks, it's not necessarily the coach, even though they have picked some bad ones. It has a lot to do with the owner there. To me, I don't know if they'll ever win with James Dolan at the helm. But Donnie, let me ask you this: you say he'll fail. I don't disagree with
Yeah.
you, but he is the right coach to start with. He's a good coach. He's the best that they've had in some time.
Yeah, but again, like we talked about it a few weeks ago, Jeff, I would love, even though I know it's going to fail, even though it might railroad me for maybe a year or two, I would love to take the Knicks job, Jeff. They're going to play a top of the line salary to you, probably move on from you after a year or year and a half or even 2 years, and you get all that money backloaded. Then you get to go back on ESPN, call games for a year where ESPN will pay you and the NBA will pay you through the Knicks, and then you get to go resume your coaching job. I love it. Like, even if David Fitzgerald, Jeff, you have to have good management, right? Saying, hey, Dave, look, it's probably not going to work out, but we're going to make bank where you'll never have to work again if you don't want to, and probably only work half of the contract and get paid for the rest. If it works out, it looks like he's a genius. If not, no big deal. I love the move for Fitzdale personally, but I just don't think you can win when you have an organization as poorly run as the New York Knicks are.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Dottie, you have to update I don't have a chat. Mozilla Firefox won't load the chat, so I
Yeah.
can't see what people are saying. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, it's a big uphill battle for this group. With the Knicks, they made a bad draft pick last year. We'll see how it goes this year. You get Porzingis back healthy. We'll see how it goes. But I do think he's the right man for the job per se. Um, will he be successful? I don't think anyone will be successful at the helm there. Let's move on to the NBA, and look, we're gonna have to get to this at some point. A bad night for Toronto Raptor and Philadelphia 76er fans, and
Mm.
I'm blown away, Donnie. Frankly, I really am. I'm. Uh, we'll start with the Sixers. I'm blown away by what has went on in this series. Last night was, to me, one of the worst losses I've ever seen in this town. Awful, bad. Where to even begin? I mean, do you begin with Ben Simmons being completely ineffective? Do you begin with just the fact that they don't have much of an offense? It's move the ball around, shoot a three. There's no real player that you can go to and say, "Hey, get me a shot." Ben Simmons won't shoot the ball. He just, I mean, took 4 shots last night. Defensively,
No, yeah, he was bad. He was bad.
wide open threes constantly, and that didn't change. I'll tell you what, Donnie, and then I'll let you get to your points. Brett Brown, I can't say I've seen a coach more out coached than this one. Brad Stevens has literally walked circles around Brett Brown, and Brett Brown just can't fix it. He doesn't call timeouts at the right time. Some of his like. Let me ask you a question. Okay, 5 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go.
Yeah.
McConnell comes in, plays well for them. One of the best players on the court. Why do you feel the need you have to go back to Simmons? Simmons comes in, lead blown, game over. There was
No,
there was
yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, you're right about it. I mean, sometimes like you have to ride the hot hand. Isn't that like the smart thing to do? Like if you equate it to like baseball and you had an eighth inning pitcher come in and throw a 7 pitch inning to get you out of an inning in a 4-3 game, and you have a closer coming in that's blown 4 straight saves. Why not just ride the hot hand in the ninth inning and pick up a victory and move on? I'm pretty sure like this whole outside notion, like, well, Ben is your future, so he has to be in this situation. I don't agree with that one bit at all. So you're telling me Ben Simmons, the rookie of the year, is going to be so fragile where he played so poorly one night that you didn't use him in the last 5 minutes, that his career will never recover again because he didn't get back in the game? No, it lights a fire under competitors. How about a TJ McConnell close that game out and the Sixers won? Ben's still starting game 2, and he's probably got a fire lit under his ass saying, now I'm going to be the one that closes out game 3 at this point. That whole notion of just because he's your guy, he's got to be back in there is ludicrous. If LeBron James is 0 for 12 with 1 point in the fourth quarter and Kyle Korver is stroking it out there, I want Kyle Korver shooting the last shot, not because LeBron James deserves this and where's his head going to be for game 3 or game 4. That's a ridiculous notion, but you're right on the Sixers' edge. I mean, hey, up 22 on the road, you have to win that game. You're the more talented team, but give credit to Boston, Jeff. Boston made every single big shot you had to make in that game, and the Sixers down the stretch faltered. Good win by Boston in that one. But again, Jeff, Boston wins at home. It's what they do. Boston not so good on the road. Sixers good at home. I think the series will be tied up going back to Boston, but it's going to be hard for the Sixers to win a game 5 or game 7 in Boston.
No, this series is over. I said it last time, say it again. Series is over. They come back and win, good for them. I don't think they're going to happen. They're not going to win. You know, they might win one game here, but they can't guard the Celtics. I mean, been made clear. I don't know why a change of venue is going to change that. They had 3 days to get it fixed. They couldn't make it happen. Couldn't do it. Ben Simmons, what is his confidence like right now? It can't be very high. I mean, he won't shoot the ball. I mean, there's no other way around it. Joel Embiid, I mean, he's played. I don't think he's played particularly good. Didn't play good last night for sure. He should not be shooting 6 threes in a game. Just shouldn't. Get down on the block and handle your business. He hasn't been able to do
No,
that.
you're 100% right on that. And it's funny because think of how good Ben Simmons would be, Jeff. Just think if he had a 3-point where he's willing to take a 3-pointer and only hit it like 33% from three. How devastating he would be out there. But teams knows that's why Al Horford's guarding him, Jeff, standing in the lane when Ben's at the 3-point line. It's a nice advantage, but that's what you do as a rookie. In the offseason, you work on your game, you try to develop your jump shot and get it ready, because once he does get that, he's going to be a more effective offensive player, even though he damn near averages, it seems like, a triple-double every night. He's a great specimen out there on the court. But you're right. If you're not going to hit the jump shot, good coaches on the other team will say, you know what? He's not going to shoot the jumper, lay off him, and put a bigger, slower guy, because we don't have to defend him at the 3-point line. It's smart coaching. Brad Stevens is a great coach. We'll see if some adjustments get made for game 3, but I like the Sixers in game 3 coming home on Saturday here.
And that's the major difference in this series. Like I said, coaching. You're not laying 9.5 with them, though. That's a ridiculous number, isn't it?
What? I didn't even see it. There's the lines out for the Sixers game on Saturday?
9.5.
Damn! About that.
Come on, man. 9.5.
Goodness.
Come on,
gracious,
man. That's ridiculous.
I just saw that right there.
That's a weird line, man, isn't it? You have to admit.
Now that's a wake-up line, because if you're sitting back and you watch the first 2 games in Boston and you're just being like, hey, Joe Public's going to win sometimes. Joe Public did great in April in Major League Baseball. If you had a good baseball month in April, you saw what you saw and you won money. If you're looking at that and say, wait a second, I'm just good. I think Boston might win the game outright. You're going to give me 9 points? Woo! Boy, oh boy, that's a line right there, man.
It's wild, isn't it? How about that?
Yeah.
LeBron owns Toronto. And when I say owns, he owns them. Donnie, I mean, and that's the arrogance of this. Real quick to connect it to this town, people actually are still call into the radio and say they don't want LeBron. Like that's what he
No.
said. How? What do you mean you don't want LeBron? You don't have a guy that can handle the basketball and give you a shot at the end of the game. Donnie, let me ask you, on the Sixers, who's that guy for you?
That takes the shot at the end. There's nobody. There's nobody
Yeah,
at the end of the
there's
game.
no
I mean,
one.
unless you throw it down, Jeff, to Embiid on the low block from 8 feet out. Like, who is going to take my favorite set in basketball, where you know who the haves and the have-nots are. There's 14 seconds on the clock. It's a tie game. Who do you want dribbling the basketball about 3/4 of the way, inside the 3-point line or right around the 3-point line, who's going to break his guy down and get to the rim or hit an open jump shot or a step back? There's nobody on the Sixers that can do that.
No.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Yet the arrogant fans don't want him. Because they want to complete the process the natural way. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck winning against the Warriors and even the Cavs. And come on, stop. LeBron owns Toronto, Donnie. 43, 14, and 8. I mean, what more do you say about this guy? I mean, he's the best.
I mean, I mean, I don't even know, like, the argument. I mean, it's hard to compare, I want to say timelines out there. In the 60s, you had Wilt Chamberlain. In the 70s, you had Skyhook Kareem. And then you had, that Bird Magic era. Then Jordan took over for a decade. Now it's LeBron's turn. I mean, it's amazing that he's this old and this good still. And when you look at the guy, it's like a fine wine, Jeff. Like, how do you keep getting better at this age and not break down or wear down? It's amazing to watch on a night-to-night basis. And the guy gets better, it seems, every year. You want me to work on my low post game? Got it down. You want me to work on my 3-point shot? Got it down. You want to work on my defense? Got it down. He's like the perfect specimen out there on the NBA court that, we always like to say, like, you'll never see it again, but maybe once every 20 years a guy comes around. But you're looking at almost basketball perfection at this point with that guy.
Yeah, no, he's amazing, man. He really is. Last 3 games, 43, 26, 45. I mean, just epic, impressive. Let's move on here, and get to the NHL quickly here. NHL last night, Donnie. What happened? Penguins won and the Jets won, right?
Yeah, no, Penguins had a nice win last night. They needed that one, closed it out. If you had a puck line in that game, you got a nice little bailout at the end with the open net, but that's what you get there. And that's a nice series now heading back 2-2. And then if you look at the Predators out there holding on in a tough environment in Winnipeg and picking up that victory. So evening up some series again, man. I say it all the time, man. Stanley Cup grind over the final 2.5 months, whatever it takes to win the Stanley Cup is amazing. It just seems like every shot you give out there each and every night. It's like, you give a little bit of piece of your soul away just to win the cup. It's amazing how hockey players can, go through and win the cup and play that hard and that tough of series and try to recover over the summer and get back after it the next year. Because basically, hockey training camp opens up in September. And what does the season end, in May or, early June, whatever. It's just amazing the amount of energy it takes from these guys. And it's not like, sometimes in the NBA, Jeff, you get a little bit of a break. We bitched and moan about, Sixers play Monday, they don't play till Thursday or Sunday, Thursday, whatever it would be. Most of the time, Jeff, hockey guys are going on back-to-back nights, and every other night, if there's a travel day thrown in, it's a supreme sport, man, not for the weak out there. And you got some good series heading down the stretch here.
By the way, Donnie, back to NBA quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
can Charles Barkley just stop at the predictions? Why does he predict everything?
I mean, that's just his job out there just to give, fodder out there, guarantee this or that. He's not studying the game from a technical standpoint. He's just taking it with his eyes and saying, Sixers are in a good spot. I don't think Boston's going to shoot the threes. I guarantee a Sixer win. And that's what they do. But nobody remembers that anyway once they lose and move on to the next day. A lot of people do that all the time.
No, he got crushed last night for it. Sorry, Donnie. Little allergy here. Sorry. No, people remembered it last night. They were all over him for that. Braves, Donnie, roll again. Donnie, I'm getting people in my DM. Braves are for real, big man. Get on board. All right, listen. It's 30 games through the season. And I said to that guy, listen, cuz 18.5% of the season's been completed. All right. They're playing very well. I'm not going to knock the Braves, but cool it. I mean, doesn't every young team do this, Donnie? I mean, this is normal.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some ups and downs with the Braves. Acuna coming up, and he seems like he's dominating Major League Baseball. Once he gets a book on him, they'll be able to pitch him better and come back down to earth. And you're going to see the teams that had better pitching throughout the season start to step up. Now, if you just deteriorate like the New York Mets are going to do, I don't know what much to tell you there, but the good pitching is going to come through in Washington. We'll see what happens. But the Braves are a good story just because they're going to hit the baseball. They're going to be fun, and they're going to be young. We'll see if they can add on over the years. And, it's hard to say a team is for real. You're right. After 1 month of baseball season, let that whole summer grind go. Let the pitching settle in. Let the teams who are bad fall to the bottom, which should be fun. But hey, good start for the Braves out there. They're fun to watch, and they're pounding the Mets. At least they pounded the Mets out of there in Flushing, Queens.
Yankees win again, Donnie, and they have owned the Houston Astros 3 games in a row. Bang, bang, bang. Move on. Start spreading the news, Donnie, as they say. Start spreading the news.
Yeah.
I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up, Donnie, in a city that
In a shitty city.
and wine, I'm king of the hill. Donnie, how about that? Yankees win again.
That's terrible.
Big series over the weekend against the Cleveland Indians. What are your thoughts, Donnie? Severino, Tanaka, how about that? Pitching well.
Yeah, the bats are coming to play. The question mark was the pitching staff and how they would hold up. Looks like they're holding up quite a bit right now. And you got CeCe on the mound tonight, Jeff. 2-1 is a favorite. Who would ever have thought that? We'll see if CeCe can get you through those 3 innings of power and impact baseball here up in the Bronx. But yeah, Yankees going to be there at the end, man. Money wins out. And there's one thing we know, Jeff, at the deadline. If the Yankees need to pick somebody up as a starting pitcher, they're going to do it. Money is not the object in New York. They'll pay for it. Yankees will be a fun team to watch. They'll mash the baseball. Just wait till 90-degree weather comes around. That's all I'm waiting for.
Listen, Donnie. I was all over CC, and you are, but listen, you got to admit he pitched pretty well in his last start. That was pretty impressive.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yes, he did. He actually did.
And he's going deeper in the games. How about that?
Yeah, but Jeff, always the problem is with CeCe when you're looking at that out there. Big man's got to eat in the summer, man. When it's hot out there, hey, man, some big man. If you're trying to go out and work out or just cut the grass, it's a lot easier to cut that grass in 65 than it is at 85. So we'll see if the big man can hold up in the Bronx this summer.
I feel like like he's lost weight. He looks a little skinnier to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but he seems like he's a lot. He looks like he looks a little better to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, you don't think he looks like he lost a little weight? He looks a little bit slimmer. I feel like.
Actually, no,
I don't
I
know.
haven't even seen him pitch yet, Jeff. I haven't seen him pitch. But yeah, it can't be worse than last year. I mean, you should see like the still shot photos where he's like in mid form, like trying to throw a pitch, and belt buckle looks like it's about to bust loose. So he better be in better shape than last year.
Let me ask you, who do you want if you had a right now, like a baseball's hit, dribbler, you need him to run up and make the play to win the game. Who do you want? CC or Cologne?
I always like it's probably because Cece's got the bulky knees and stuff. It's probably Cologne because I think he's a little bit better athlete, obviously, than what his body type shows, which is why he's able to stay around for so long. But I always like I could picture Cece like even like Game 7 of the World Series, one of those swinging bunt plays, and like the runner's coming home from third, and Cece just standing on the mound like I'm not going after that damn thing.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. But Donnie, let me ask you, what did you think of my singing voice? I've been told it's not bad actually.
Yeah, he should be a crooner, man. You ever see the movie like what Raging Bull? Jake LaMotta is the singer at a nightclub and telling jokes. He should be that guy.
Okay. Yeah, I think I could be a comedian. I definitely do.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's a tough job. Comedians are
Yeah.
well, they're people that I respect. That especially comedians are hard. You got to go up on a stage. You got to take shit. Um, I can't really take shit. So probably wouldn't be a good comedian.
Mhm.
Uh, The Price is Wrong, bitch. What movie is that
Yes.
from?
I'm gonna say Happy Gilmore, right?
Yes, is correct. And Donnie, I want to give you a little credit. You sniffed this one out last night. I was chatting with some people about this game, and um, it just didn't make a lot of sense. This line. I mean, I know the Mets line. I took that one, didn't work out. Vargas just didn't pitch well, but this one was a good one because the Red Sox are a better team than Texas. But if you look at the numbers right now, Donnie, Boston's pitching's not been good over the last 7 or 8 games. Texas has been hitting. Mike Minor's not a great pitcher, but the line just didn't make a lot of sense. I think 85% of the money was on the Red Sox. Line went down a bit. Just didn't make a lot of sense. Texas gets the chicken in this one.
No, you're right about it. Yesterday right away. Oh my God, super hot Boston going into terrible Texas. Mike Minor, who the hell is that? David Price on the mound. That ended pretty quickly there because Price was awful in that game versus Texas, easily going over the number in that one. But looking at those, you're saying, you know what, this doesn't look so right here. Try to dig in, but again, it's hard for a Major League Baseball team. It's hard for any team, Jeff. You're going to play that day in the afternoon in the hot weather, then you're going to fly all the way down to Texas, play the next night. David Price was caught off guard. He hasn't been the greatest pitcher since he's moved to Boston there. So nice win by the Texas Rangers there.
Yes, very good win. What else do we have here today? Tillman, Donnie, Chris Tillman, the
Yeah,
the gift that
yeah.
keeps on giving. And listen, I mean, this Oriole team's hit rock bottom. I mean, this is rock bottom. I mean, you get drilled last night. Absolutely worked. Tillman 1 inning gives up 7 earned runs, bumps his ERA up over 9. I mean, there's got to be someone down with Delmarva or one of those teams that is better than Chris Tillman. I mean, this is ugly. But then again, is there? I mean, I think is Ubaldo Jimenez still in their league in their minor league system? I
Yeah,
mean,
they should bring him up.
he is a free agent, actually. I'm noticing here, free agent currently.
Mm.
This Oriole team, Don. I mean, you look at, I mean, and this was before last night. I mean, the Orioles, they're dead last in batting average and on base percentage, 27th in slugging, 28th in runs scored, and their team ERA is among the worst in the league. This is rock bottom. I mean, when does Buck Showalter get shown the door? It's got to be soon.
I don't. Yeah, but I don't really know if it's his fault or not at this point because you see almost like the retooling that's going to take place for the Orioles. They have no shot to keep their centerpiece Machado at the end of the year, even if they trade him halfway through. He's not going to sign with a new team because Scott Boras is going to get a hold of him and say, "You're going to make $400 million on the open market. We're not signing any extension anywhere with anybody unless you give me $500 million, and it's going to be worth my while." But when you're looking at games last night like Tillman, just watching him over this past few starts, The easiest thing from it doesn't matter how hard you throw, what you're doing out there. If you're just going to throw like a 93-mile-an-hour fastball dead red over the plate every single time when you throw a fastball, Major League Baseball players are going to kill that pitch. He was evaporated early in that baseball game last night. And the one interesting thing is, let's say, take a team total on the Angels, which ended up looking like a pretty easy win, especially I think it even covered in the first inning. But when you look at games like that, it's like anybody but the other pitcher for the Angels that was on the mound last night, I would have taken it because I need a little bit more than 1, 2, maybe 3 starts. If he had 4 starts, you would have been all over the Angels, even though that price was hovering around 170. Tillman's not a major league pitcher. He's literally batting practice fodder out there. And the one game that I think he gave up, 2 or 3 runs, it was pure magic up there, like smoke and mirrors, where a ball was right over the middle plate on a tee and nobody could hit the ball out of the ballpark. Last night, he just got trounced. I'm not so sure Chris Tillman should be pitching anymore this year for the Baltimore Orioles. But then again, Jeff, what does it even matter? They're just looking to get through the season at this point, it seems like.
Yeah, no, it's ugly, man. It really is. I mean, they have no ability to win at home, Donnie, either. That was kind of a way they could kind of right the ship a little bit by having a good home record. They don't even have that anymore. Ugly, ugly stuff. Let's Donnie, get into today's card. We'll start with the NBA. What do we have? I know we have 2 Western Conference series. What do we got going on?
In NBA action tonight, you want to start with that? Or you want to go NHL action tonight?
Listen, I got nothing on NHL. You can
Yeah,
give
we'll
your
go over a
opinion on
couple
that,
things on
brother.
that. Yeah, no, I got it. 5-13, 5-14 tonight. Golden State Warriors and the Pels going to re-up it tonight. Looks like a little like nice juicy line if you're like into dip in on the Warriors right now, Jeff. I know a lot of people scratching their head going, 4.5 out there. Might be a Custer's last stand for the New Orleans Pelicans at this point to see if they can hang in there and keep this a series. But heading on the road, Jeff, obviously the Warriors are the better team. Steph Curry getting back. He's going to start this ball game. Doesn't look great for the Pelicans, but that line is telling me that, Jeff, Pelicans got a shot here.
Yeah, it definitely does, but I just have a hard time in believing that they can win a game. I mean, they've just looked, the Warriors just look so dominant, man. I mean, the Pelicans even played well in the first half of game 2. I mean, they had a lead, they played well, looked good. But with Steph Curry back, I mean, it's hard to envision anyone beating the Warriors, and that's basketball at this point. I mean, it's try to throw your best shot and beat the Warriors, even though there's probably not a chance you can do it. Um, yeah, I think this is telling you that they do have a shot, but I'm not betting against the Warriors, so therefore I'd keep leaning with them here. They're just kind of on another level for me. Um, Pelicans really just seem overmatched, man. I mean, they look good against Portland, and that was Portland, but this is a whole different series. They're you know, they haven't shot the ball particularly well either. I mean, first game 44%, 45% in game 2. Golden State just with Steph Curry, I'm not looking to step in front of. This is a pretty nice line, especially up 2-0. You can really put the stranglehold in this series. 10 of 13, Donnie, have gone over in this one. I think if
Mhm.
you're gonna, I mean, you look at this total though; it's up to 232. I mean, just a huge total. Um, you know, uh, where do you really go in this game? It's like 232. That's amazing. Very high.
God damn,
I would
right.
probably
Like, yes, like everything has to go right for you to hit that total, but can it? Because it's always Golden State. Yes, but it's just like anything can happen. Somebody gets hurt, or they go for a 3-minute stretch where they don't score. Like 232.5 is hilarious.
yeah, yeah. No. You're totally right. Um I'd go Warriors. I mean, at this price, I'll go Warriors, but it is kind of a shady one. I just they haven't really given me any reason to think they can't go down and win 3-0. It wouldn't surprise me if they sweep the Pelicans.
No. Houston Rockets, Utah Jazz. Jeff, looks like we're going to switch home courts here, which is nice. Utah's going to be righted and ready to go after getting wasted in game 1. Came back with a great effort in game 2, pushing it to a 1-1 series. Now heading back up to Utah at Vivint Systems, whatever arena they call it now at this point. -4.5, Jeff. It opened up. Inter top sitting at 4.5. Over under. Another decent one at 209.5. Do the Rockets right the ship here? Or is that energy with the Utah crowd going to be enough to sustain and maybe even take a series lead over the NBA top seeded Houston Rockets?
Well, I think I was, and if you're an NBA guy, you should have been excited with Utah's performance in Game 2. I mean, no, Donovan Mitchell didn't play well. Ricky Rubio didn't play at all, and they still were able to win by 8 points and put up 116. That was impressive. Now you get that big time home crowd there. Listen, I think this is a pretty good basketball team, Utah. I think they might push Houston around a little bit. Are they going to win this series? I don't know, but they've been damn impressive watching them. When they get going, they're hard to beat, especially at home. For me, I'm gonna lean Utah here. I think they get a series lead here. I think Houston will have to come back and try to win a game in Game 4, and head back to Houston. This is where for me, I think a lot of stats are thrown out. You just kind of rock with your overall feelings on it. Utah continues to be absolutely phenomenal, Donnie, defensively this year. Opponents only shooting 43% in that building. For the playoffs, it's been 43%. They just don't really waver, get above that. This Houston team, we do know they struggle at times defensively. Um, let James Harden do his thing, but yeah, I think they've done a nice job other than that dealing with that group. I'm gonna give a lean here to Utah at home. I think getting points at home, I think that's kind of like Boston in a way. They have a great home court advantage. Um, Mitchell will be better. I think that'll make it, obviously make it even better for Utah. I'll lean Utah here plus 4.5.
All right, next game's up, I should say. NHL on the card tonight. Tampa Bay, Boston going to renew it. Another game in the TD Bank Garden. Just keep on filling that building. It seems like every single spring with Boston Celtics and Boston Bruins games. Jeff, line opened up at 150, now sitting at 155 at Intertops. Over under 6 across the board. See if Boston get that snapback. Tampa Bay with a nice victory in the last game. Then we're going to go out to Vegas with the Golden Knights. Another good series there. Seems like it's going to turn into a best of 3 in that one. Vegas favorite at Intertops at minus 150, over under 5.5. So 2 good hockey games on deck. We got some NBA on deck. You got Major League Baseball on deck. It's a great time of year. Kentucky Derby, if you're a horse lover, comes on tomorrow as well. So should have a lot of fun with that. We'll slide it down and we'll get into some Major League Baseball action, Jeff. We'll start off, and why don't we just go right into the Bronx with Tomlin and Sabathia on the mound. Cleveland Indians, New York Yankees. 57% of the early tickets, Jeff, coming in on the hometown team, New York Yankees, and CC Sabathia opened up at 205, 210. Intertops now showing a 190 and an over-under, Jeff, at 10.5. A little bit hot in the Bronx today. Maybe that ball travels out there, but not two dominant pitchers on the mound that should be able to quell those bats. Indians come in red hot, even though, Jeff, seemed like they played about 15 hours of baseball yesterday. Now flying into the Bronx. We'll see how much they have left, but Vegas setting that total high, expecting some runs here.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for the Indians. Good point by you. And I'll tell you what, you talk about complete mugs. Josh Tomlin. This is a guy for years I've faded. He's a complete fucking hack. You look at it, Yankee Stadium, he's been a complete mess. He's been a complete mess this year. Sunday, he got absolutely worked. And look, Sabathia's pitched fairly well. It's not a stretch to say Josh Tomlin can't pitch anymore. He gives up way too many home runs. That's always been an issue for him. And it's a concern heading into Yankee Stadium, a place that he's struggled a ton. Um, Big number for CC here, but he's pitched very well. I mean, and it's hard to even overlook last year. He pitched very well last year for the most part, at times as well. He hasn't seen the Indians a ton. I mean, he used to pitch there way back in the day. Um, I would keep riding the Yankees, Donnie. I mean, really. I mean, how do you not? Uh, you got. I think you got to lay the 1.5 here. Tomlin is that bad. I think will put you in a problematic state early. You're gonna have to work and use a lot of your bullpen. You mentioned a long day yesterday. I just don't think it's a great spot for the Indians here tonight. With Tomlin, I mean, he's not the guy you want to see in Yankee Stadium if you're the Indians. Bad, bad for
No,
them.
you're right. Yeah, but yeah, that bullpen is actually taxed and expended, same as, even the hitters. It's, even though it's baseball, you get 5-star treatment. That's still a long day in heat, and then you're having a travel day, and you're going to get into the Bronx, play a tough team, and some more heat. So you're not even getting a reprieve where you'd be playing, 60-degree weather to keep it cool out there. It's going to be a hot one in the Bronx. 901, 902. You're going to go Phillies and Nationals. Pivetta and Gonzalez on the mound. Interesting opening line, about 140, 145, depending on where you're shopping at. Intertop's now showing a minus 122. So money coming in on the Phillies, yet despite only 22% of the tickets right now going on the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies, avoided a sweep against the Marlins. Jesus, it should have been the other way around. You should have almost swept the Marlins, not almost get swept by the Marlins at this point, now coming in to face the Washington Nationals here in a key NL East battle. As we said, over-under looks across the board, 8.5. Should get some warm weather again up here in the Northeast. We'll see if the Philly bats can finally come alive, but Gio Gonzalez has been pretty decent against the Philadelphia Phillies.
He has been, but I think this line, Donna, like you said, does kind of jump out a bit. I think when you first look at the card, you see the Nationals. They won 5 in a row. They've really looked good lately. Gio's got good numbers against the Phillies, against a guy in Pivetta. Not many people are particularly high on. He's an average guy, but he's pitched well for them. They're 5-1 when he starts. They hit lefties well, Donnie. You look at the Phillies, 261 this year against left-handed pitching. The only lefty that's really been able to shut them down was, I believe, Jose Urania. The other, or I'm not sorry, not Urania. Urania's a righty. Jarlin Garcia shut them down the other night. But for the most part, they have been very good against left-handed pitching. Um, it's interesting, Donnie. The Nationals have really kind of gotten going when they put, and I want to shout out one of the listeners, Zach. He mentioned to me, they put Bryce Harper up at that one spot, and it's really seemed to work out for them.
Yeah.
They've gotten kind of going a little bit. No one you can't really protect him anymore. He's not being, you can't walk him, you can't put him on base. They've done well. The line though is a concern. I mean, like you said, 20% of the action on the Phillies, yet the line's going in their favor. This looks like one of those that kind of jumps out to you a little bit.
Last one we'll take a look at real quick here. An interesting matchup, 9:29, 9:30. It's going to be Houston traveling out to Arizona after not having a very good series against the New York Yankees. 59% of the tickets. Jeff Early going on the Houston Astros and Garrett Cole. Why not? He's been absolutely amazing to start the season. But then there comes a time where you're just trying to take a look at what overall value can you still see. Opened up in the mid 190s, 170s, depending where you're shopping. Jeff Intertop's at minus 190. Chris at 2-1 right now as a road favorite for Garrett Cole. And this isn't like a slapstick team where you're going down to play the Marlins on the road. You're going to have a decent team in the Arizona Diamondbacks playing today, but a lot of respect shown for Garrett Cole early for how well he's pitched.
Well, yeah, and I think it has a lot to do also with the fact that the fact that Chris Medlin's pitching for the Diamondbacks. I mean, Chris Medlin is a glorified bullpen guy. I mean, this is his first big league appearance in a long time. I think he pitched with the Royals before this, pitched with the Braves as well. This is kind of one of those stopgap kind of guys. But Arizona's been very good. The question is, can they hit Garrett Cole? Garrett Cole's been fantastic. I'm not willing to put in the. You look at the other night, Donnie. Perfect example of the Diamondbacks, where baseball can be tough at times. Diamondbacks kind of rolling a little bit, but are they rolling a little bit? You look at offensively; they haven't been overly great offensively. It's really been the pitching that's kept them in games and have allowed them to do so well this year. They haven't done a bang up job or anything offensively. I mean, they're just kind of middle of the road. They're hitting 238, 4 runs a game at home. Not great. Problem is when you go into Chase Field, opponents are only hitting 196. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. I think Medlin will get hit on a little bit. Am I in love with their bullpen? I guess it's average. I think Houston will get going here. I think they'll get the job done. I think they'll go in and dominate Arizona, at least in this game. I think we need to remember they've gotten great pitching, Arizona. I'm not so sure they're going to get great pitching tonight with Medlin, a guy that they're kind of just bringing up and throwing in there to eat some innings up. This could really tax their bullpen, especially on a Friday night when you're getting a good series going here against a good team. This could be really bad for Arizona. They might have to dip in the bullpen a little too early. I think Houston will get to them a little bit.
Yeah, the early season humidor, Jeff, paying off in dividends if you're a pitcher out in Arizona. So I guess that's what they're looking at in the over-under, sitting, about 8.5 across the board at this point. It used to be a pinball ballpark out there, which was always a lot of fun to watch, but I guess baseball is going to regress and say, you know what, less home runs, which is ridiculous, and more strikeouts. I don't understand what they're trying to do. I don't even understand the point of the humidor in Arizona as opposed to in Colorado. So what? They're going to hit maybe an extra home run a game because you don't have a humidor in there. Isn't that what the fans want, Jeff? It'd be like in the NBA saying, you know what, let's go back to the Heat, the Pat Riley Miami Heat days or the Pat Riley New York Knicks days where, we'll end games 82-80 in the playoffs and just every time down court is I'm going to punch you in the mouth. That's not really what people tune in or watch or the expansion of the game. I don't understand the humidor at this point. More runs is more fun. I mean, hell, that's what fantasy is built on there. Do you want a game that's going to be 2-1 where the best guy in the game was 1 for 3 with an RBI double? No, man, come on. Open up the floodgates. Have some fun out there for once.
No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It seems like we're trying to involve the refs too much, or letting the conditions get the best of us too much. We want to see offense. We don't go to games to see a 2-1 game. At least most of us don't. Though a
Yeah.
pitching duel can be fun sometimes. Donnie, what else do we have off topic today?
Yeah, let's slide it down off topic and we get back. It's been a couple weeks now. See, I'm rubbing my hands right here, getting that little, itch. If I was Dave Chappelle pouring a little bit of crack on my toast right here, getting ready to go. Tiger's back. Impressive yesterday, Jeff. Only finished 5 shots back after 1 round. And it looks like today, before he came on the show, updated right around 50 or 55th place for Tiger Woods. That's about average, as long as he can make the cut at this point, because he's not going to contend for any tournaments. It's good for TV. It's good for golf. They'll show him a lot. Maybe he wears red on Sunday, down 10 to 12 strokes at Quail Hollow. But Tiger is back. He's back every time he plays golf. And it's just what it is at this point, right?
Listen, Don, I'm gonna let you have at it with Tiger every time. I'm not gonna. I don't mind the guy. I think he's fine. I
I
give
don't
him
mind
credit
it.
for
I don't mind it at all. But you
doing.
know what I am liking more and more now is when Tiger was back. Like, he's back every week. Oh my God, he's back. But now I'm not even getting any tweets. Like, I used to have a couple people that would come in and say like the supreme hot takes, Jeff. Most of the time they
Yeah,
work out really well. Westbrook's never going to win. He doesn't win. Who was on the bandwagon longer than me crushing Tiger when he's the favorite at the Masters? Me. Come on, people. At least if I'm out there giving this opinion to you, you can pull it down and say, Mom, can you please take the Tiger Woods poster down above my bed before I get home? It's all good. There's a whole other, you can get out, play some Fortnite out there or something. Don't worry so much about Tiger Woods anymore, people. If you heard it here first on SBR, we laughed all along like a jolly old St. Nicholas while Tiger Woods is playing. It's okay. It's a new era out there. Tiger's not competitive. Let's move on.
well said. I don't disagree with you, Donnie. Quickly, I'm gonna throw out a soccer play here for all the kids on the chat,
Oh,
all the kids, all the kiddies, um, and I'm gonna go to Ireland. I'm gonna go to Derry City. Derry City is rolling, playing well. Only 5 points back of Dundalk and Cork City in Ireland. I'm going to go with Derry today, minus 1.5. They're playing a team named Bray Wanderers. Bray Wanderers are awful. They're bad, really bad. 6 goals in 14 matches. They've given up 35 goals in 14 games. That's over 2 a game if you're not good with math. You're pushing almost 3 a game. Derry City are a good side. I don't see any reason they don't go in and crush Bray Wanderers. Bray Wanderers is really having a tough time, and it's hard to imagine that through 14 games they're a relegation candidate, but you have to think they are. I mean, they're really struggling. I've messed around a lot with Ireland over the years. Many people will remember last year with Cork City. Cork City were a great bet against or bet on last year. Bray's a bad side. I don't see any reason that Derry City can't get 2 at least here. Maybe even a win to nil if you have that option. It's hard to imagine Bray scoring in this game. You could actually get 2.2, so plus 120 on Derry City. I'm going to go the other route and just go minus 1.5. I think this is 2-3-0 win here for Derry on the road at Bray. I mean, Donnie, you're neither of us are very good with math, but I mean, 14 matches, you've given up 35 goals and only scored 6. That's not a good recipe to win very much. So there's a little play for you. Ireland, Derry City, minus 1.5.
there you go, Jeff. The last thing up there, ESPN going viral with new shows, Jeff. Did you see their new Twitter format that's coming out? Bringing Russillo back in the fold, a couple new matches, Katie Nolan going on there. Like, and it's hard for, like, I like future technology, right? But are you telling me that people are going to watch TV shows like through Twitter? Like, every time that little box pops up on my screen, I immediately hit hide. I don't even care what's on there. Do people watch Twitter shows as opposed to watching like just regular ESPN on their TV?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're trying for anything at this point, right? To make something work. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get ESPN. I don't really know where they're going with things. They're bringing Russillo back. I mean, does anyone care really? I mean,
He
I
was
don't
the
know.
only good guy they had left, and I don't even know why he left, which was kind of interesting. Like, he just bounced from a good show and said, "I just don't want to be here at ESPN anymore." And then he comes back to sort of like a podcast type format on Twitter. It's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, who knows where they're going? I mean, if we can figure out what ESPN's doing, I'd like to hear what they're doing. I don't really know. So what they're going to do Twitter shows only? That's all they're doing?
Yeah, they released like 5 or 6 like different like Twitter type shows that'll be out there to see if that can like upkick. But again, that's not like your target audience is the person that sits back, cracks open a beer, flips on the TV, or is getting ready for work and wants to watch Sports Center. Like, I don't know if people just have to, oh, I can't wait till 8 o'clock on Twitter where Katie Nolan comes on. I don't understand. Like, I know you want to reach certain like types of mediums out there. We all saw the hilariousness of Facebook games not shown in your local market where people are like losing their mind and like ESPN, or excuse me, like the Phillies getting like 20,000 people watching instead of 2 million people watching. Like, I don't understand this. People watch sporting events to have great HD, sit back and relax on their couch, not on their phone. I just don't understand.
Yeah, Donnie, I think it's clear you're not a fan of like streaming online. You don't like games
But
online.
it doesn't
I mean,
make
keep
sense. That's what, like, why would you do
listen,
that? It
Donnie,
doesn't
Donnie,
unless you
listen,
had to.
because that's the future, man. That's what people are doing. I don't disagree with you. But Facebook Live is or Watch or whatever is popular nowadays. I don't know. I guess they kind of look at the fact of how many users Facebook has, and they say, well, we got to be able to convert 10% of these people, or I don't know, whatever their percentages are. I don't know. I hear you. I prefer, like, a lot of people say to me anymore, I don't even watch TV. I just watch it on the internet or something. For me, I'd like to hit the button, TV goes on, and I could pick. I know it's expensive. I get that, but I mean, I mean, I just like watching it on TV. I don't really understand why you'd watch it online, but yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just think that's the wave of the future, and that's what they're doing. But yeah, if you can figure out what they're doing, let me know. Donnie, great stuff as always. Appreciate Intertops for hosting the show today. Appreciate Johan for producing, always being very solid, helping us out doing the show every day. Donnie and I will be back tomorrow, Saturday morning. We'll go over the baseball card as we usually do. Donnie, any plans for the weekend?
Plans for the weekend? No. I mean, I'm still going to continue having some family parties because the ever, never ending, I should say, communion and confirmation parties that I do have to go to, they still continue. So, hey, it's free food and fanfare, and I guess you got to put some time in with the family to do that. But hopefully they'll be over pretty soon.
Donnie, keep in mind my NASCAR video will be out in an hour or two. I've hit four in a
Mm.
row, four races in a row. I was
Ooh.
on board with all three Kyle Busch wins. I hit 850 last week with Joey Logano. We head to Dover this weekend, Donnie, for that race. Looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can find some value and hit a fifth straight winner. NASCAR,
Mm.
I'm hot on the track. Get with that. That'll be out a little bit later today. It's just a little programming note for you. We'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, Donnie Rightside and I, 11 o'clock Eastern, for a little Saturday sit down on the closing line. Thanks everyone for checking us out. Fortunately, I wasn't able to watch the box today. I'm sure there was a lot of great information on there and riveting, I'm sure, as well. I'm sure my name was on there plenty. But that's that. Everyone have a great day. Donnie, talk to you later, pal. We'll see you guys either tomorrow or join us on Monday for the right side of campus, 10 a.m. every day. Have a great day. Bye bye.